While everybody is talking about their 10 before the end list, I am struggling to make said list, but I did want to talk about some of the books that I have as sort of a priority list for the rest of the year. I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to stick to a list, and that could be my ADHD, but I think it's also a lot of outside factors because I've got arcs that I get that I like to read and post about and making sure I get those done on time. I've got book clubs that I need to read books for, and of course, Libby really runs the show here where when my library holds are ready, they're ready, and then I have to read them. So it's hard for me to make and stick to a list, but there are quite a few books that I am excited about that I'm hoping to get through the end of the year, while also leaving time for me to read several holiday romance novels. In my last video, I went through the 15 I read last year and some on my TBR this year, and I do want to make sure I have time for those. While this time of the year I want to cozy up and read more, I also need to be more present with my family. So it's just a delicate balance of what am I going to get to, what am I going to be in the mood for, and how it's all going to go. But I have several on my list that I'm actually really looking forward to that I want to talk with you about. I'm curious if you've read them, please leave me a comment. And I'd love to hear what your priorities are for the rest of the year, or even going into 2026, some of the books that you really have high on your list of want to read. But first, if you are new here, I am Allison, and this is my channel, Allison Reads. Every person who watches a video, leaves me a comment, subscribes, is literally my favorite person in the world. So if you want to connect about all things romance novels, romantasy novels, and expanding our horizons into other genres, reading diversely, all the things, please make sure you're subscribed, and I'm going to talk about my 2025 priority list. Okay, the first two on my list are Bride and Mate. By the time I actually edit and post this, I'll be done with Bride. I'm halfway done. But book club next week is Mate. So I needed to read Bride, obviously. And truly, I am sad that I waited this long to read Bride. Although now that I can go right into Mate, I'm actually really happy. I am enjoying Bride so much. I have always sort of thought that Allie Hazelwood was hit or miss for me, but this is definitely hitting. It is funny. We've got a world where we have humans, vampires, and werewolves, and there's a delicate balance of keeping the peace. And it is about our friend who is a vampire venturing into werewolf territory, and I am literally loving it so far. I'm already excited about Mate, but these are my first two reads that I'm starting with right now. Then I'm going to read The Counterpart by Ruby Landers. This is an advanced reader copy that I have, and it actually comes out in a couple of days. It is a small town sapphic mafia romance, sort of. It is a mafia boss, a female mafia boss, and an actress, and they somehow are going to get together. I don't know all that much about it, but it is an arc, and I love everything Ruby Landers writes. So we are going to read that once we finish Bride and Mate. Then I have two more book club books I need to read, The Correspondent and Good Spirits. I don't know much about The Correspondent other than that it is a little bit outside of my typical genre, but everybody who I have talked to has enjoyed it. As far as I know, it's about a retired lawyer who uses writing letters to address some important moments in her life. I think it addresses grief and relationships, and I'm actually really excited to read it for book club. And then Good Spirits. I talked about this in my last video where I went through my 15 romance novels I read last year and my TBR for this year. Good Spirits is on there. I'm going to do the audio for Good Spirits. This is more of a holiday rom-com with a Ghost of Christmas Past, so it's a little bit more of a paranormal romance, and I am really, really excited to read it. So I'm glad that there's some overlap between me wanting to read it and needing to read it for book club. The next book I want to read is The Everlasting. Now, I actually started listening to this already. I had the ALC from Libro FM, and I'm listening to it. I'm this is going to be a fantastic book, but I need to immersive read this. If you've never heard of immersive reading, it's where you listen and read at the same time. So I'm waiting to get my physical copy of The Everlasting since I already have the audiobook, and I just know it's going to be so good. As far as I know, The Everlasting really is a story about love through time, and it is more of a time travel fantasy romance novel where we have a lady knight named Una Everlasting, and we have a scholar who falls in love with the story of our knight Una Everlasting, and somehow they're connected through, you know, getting their history right and doing things and kind of falling in love every time, I think. And I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be really, really good. I really want to read Conform. I have the audio. I now just got the physical copy from the bookstore. We have a world that is post like catastrophic war, dystopian level, surviving after this like crazy war that like almost wiped out humanity. We've got like a mating program, I think, to rebuild the population. And there's rebellions and things. People are describing this as more of like an adult Hunger Games. And I'm really excited about it because I did reread the Hunger Games this past year and I fell in love all over again. So I'm hoping this gives me some of those vibes. And I do find myself really wanting to read more fantasy romance, romantasy. As I get closer to the end of the year, I feel like I've just read so many romance books this year. So on top of reading my holiday romances, if I have time, I have a few more books that I want to read. So The Ascended came out, right? And everybody keeps talking about how amazing it is. Well, I, in fact, have FOMO and I'm gonna try to read Riftborn and Duskbound. I honestly don't know anything about these books except for that I want to read them because people seem to like them. So I'm gonna put those up on my list to hopefully read by the end of the year. And then because I'm loving Bride so much right now, I think I might lean into this werewolf energy, read Bridemate, and then move into the Wolf King. I do think that I'm going to continue my werewolf journey after I finish Mate. So we'll see. Let me know in the comments what your priority list is for the rest of 2025. If you've read any of the books that I have just talked about, I would love to hear about your thoughts in the comments. Or if you think I should move, you know, prioritize my priority list based on your thoughts, please let me know in the comments. In the next couple of videos, I'm actually going to walk through how I'm tracking all of my books. I moved from Goodreads to just my own spreadsheet so I can look at the data that I want to look at. So I'm going to walk you through that. I really do appreciate you being here. This is only my like third video on this channel, so I appreciate anybody who subscribes, who comes back to watch, and joins me in future videos.